Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you gotta get spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, everybody. The 19th, Friday. Long week, but it actually looks like they might be pulling something out here today. So let's come over. We got our robots on. Got our new little indicator. I'll tell you about that in a bit. And so, yeah, the Asian session, European sessions did pretty well. Equities moving back up. I think it's possible. I mean, especially if we get above this like 39.40 area or so, they could go for new highs. But we do get some data before that, right? We got like market PMIs and so forth. Meanwhile, treasuries up here are like maybe they're stabilizing. I mean, the higher low yesterday, they are kind of towards the lows today. There's definitely going to be a threat of it, pushing down. But here off of the open so far, not a whole lot of activity. So it doesn't look like they're ready to just cush. They're going to be waiting for, the news and so on and so forth. When we come into other assets here, oil just took a pretty good dump yesterday. Overall, though, I think things could still be doing okay over there. So we'll see. Now gold is just getting creamed lately. And a lot of this looks like technicals to me because, there was like the golden death cross or whatever we call it. But then when you come over and you look at silver's doing okay. Silver was down overnight, but it's pushing back up. So it's interesting. Silver continues to outperform gold. But I think that might be a temporary thing as they just kind of sort out all of the technicals over there, right? Copper just going again. It doesn't stop. It is almost to $4. Almost $4 in copper. And the CME has actually raised the margin requirements on this now, finally. So, but that's not stopping it at all. There's like true demand over there for the copper. Well, when we come back over here, look at the dollar. We've kind of been up all week, and now the dollar is really falling. Now, granted, it's not nearly enough to compensate for, the harm that it's done to the metals, for instance. Also, when we come back over here, it's not like Bitcoin is reacting to the stronger dollar at all. It's kind of funny when the dollar is weak, Bitcoin goes up, when the dollar is weak, Bitcoin goes up. When the dollar is strong, Bitcoin goes up. It just doesn't care. But we would expect it to be a little bit higher with the dollar falling down here, but doesn't seem to time up. And then we got this new little thing over here I want to talk about. Minimize that. So you can see I get these little box drawn over here. I probably should only draw it between here and here. I don't know how I want to actually signify it, but it's showing us a gap. It's showing us a gap that occurred on that bar. So, or I would say like an order flow, like a unauctioned price. So I don't know what we call that, but you're going to see a lot of them in the overnight session, but during the regular session, it should be pretty uncommon. And if it does happen, we will get alerts And I was actually going through and looking at the data the other day. Actually, I wonder if can I do it over here? Let's do it over here. I was looking at like one range charts yesterday, and I thought it was kind of fun. Not one range, one tick charts. I thought they were kind of interesting. You want to do like a line on close for these. And we'll make it like white. Maybe a ghost white. Make the bar width really big. It'll take it a bit to load it up, of course. Oh yes, change the date. Thank you, Win. So there, the date is fixed. The robots are on here. And see if my HFT takes anything. Oh, are we gonna be difficult here? Let's see here. Oh, because it changed it back to a candlestick. That's funny. Apply. There we go. Okay, 10 is probably too high. 5? Maybe just 2. Can I zoom it out? See, the issue with the one tick chart is that you really just can't zoom it out far enough. Oh, it looks like the Frasier intro. Yeah, I guess it kind of does. So basically what's happening is like it's printing there at 39.25 and a quarter, and then like one order hit there, right? Is what's going on there. So when I was going through the data and I was using my gap indicator, then I could find some spots where they actually did cause some gaps. And I found a spot yesterday where they skipped 8 ticks. There was one lot went off at 8 ticks. So somebody caught like 7 ticks of slippage. Pretty cool. When the market really gets going, this would go so quickly that I don't think that you'd really be able to keep track of what's going on. I am not imagining a tug of war who is winning. Well, it looks like the buyer's winning right there, isn't it? Good little run. Now here we're going to get the data. Well, not too much of a reaction to it. Looks like the Canadian retail sales were better than expected, but still negative. Oh, I thought we were going to get the, no, I guess it's just the Canadian numbers. 7:45, we do get the manufacturing PMIs today, then existing home sales. So this is one of those days where things might be a little constrained going from the start. Oh, by the way, we need to try the Texas speech and see if we can fix that, if that works today. If it was just that we had it on all night. Yes, it was. Cool. So we can close that. And my nose is getting a little wet, and my wife and child had runny noses yesterday. I hope I did not catch anything. Man, hold on. See, when I look at this, it looks to me like it's only doing 1 pixel per tick. But I'm not entirely sure. And it's like, it only lets you zoom out so far. It's kind of frustrating. Wonder what happens if I try to use a point and figure. Oh, that's terrible. It's funny, these ones like the box, they don't really work because it expects a high and a low. So here, line makes sense. Taggy line is also interesting, but I think the line on close makes the most sense. Maybe the bar width being 2 shouldn't. I don't know if that gives me more room. Oh, you really need tick replay on either. Well, anyways, I'm just going to close that because it's not helping us. Let's see here. What else? Well,
Winston's mom says BOFA expects a more than 10% pullback in stocks which are trading at more than 22 times 12-month forward earnings, the most expensive since the dot-com bubble of the late 1990s. Reuters.
Yeah. I've noticed this week that there's a lot of people getting bearish. Now, there's a couple of issues. I'm going to have to pull out the Kleenexes here. So, there's a couple of issues. The first thing is, remember that bottoms tend to be really quick events, but tops take a while. Okay? So it's like when things are going really bad and everybody is kind of like crazy, they have some ideas about how bad things are that aren't very true. It's like they snap out of it really quickly, right? Because everything's going bad. They kind of want to snap out of it anyways, right? Oh man. There was some aggressive action there. I'm wondering if I should try and follow that. But when things are going really well, it's like they stay in denial about their reality and try to keep it going as long as possible. So to really get that kind of a real pullback, like Bank of America was talking about 10% there, you kind of need an event. You kind of need something that destroys the illusion, the thing that people believe that's wrong. Does it make sense? I know that I was like really disjointed there and everything, but let me try and do it again here. When we're forming a bottom, it tends to be very quick because people snap out of that really quickly and realize things aren't as bad. That's just kind of their nature. But when things are going really, really well, they think that they're like amazing and awesome, and they don't want to face up to the reality of things. And so they hold on to it a lot longer. Here, the GameStop, a good example, right? There's some people still in GameStop and are in just complete denial about that it's over, right? So tops tend to be a longer process. And in order to really create those tops, you need something to kind of flip that momentum around, because it's really self-feeding. Like, people believe something that's not true, And then that causes them to buy. And then the buying reinforces their belief that they're right, which causes more people to pile on, and it just keeps going and going until everybody's in, right? So you need something to pop the bubble. So the question is, what's going to pop it? What's the thing that's going to happen that's going to flip it around and really, really cause them to realize that, this market can't stay this way, and that the easy money cannot last very long? Well, treasuries pushing up the way that they are is definitely something that could do it. It's definitely something that could do it. We would have to push a lot further than we have, but it's definitely something that could do it, right? Another thing that could do it is Bitcoin here. So, of course, what would be the thing that would crash Bitcoin? Well, I don't know if it's going to flip around on its own right now. It seems like that with the news that they're able to keep the bubble going, even though they're well past their places at which they would have crashed before, right? But say, for instance, today news came out that Bitfinex can't print Tether anymore, and that the New York Attorney General is now moving on to a next phase of their investigation or whatever. Like bad news about Bitfinex. Okay. That could certainly hurt the cryptocurrency market, right? And if the cryptocurrency market went down, then that would probably really, MSTR would be like gone. Those guys are like taking out debt to buy Bitcoin, so that's definitely going to hurt them. And Tesla has been hurt in the past last time we had a decent pullback in Bitcoin, and it was really only just like a slight pullback. Tesla was down that day, and Tesla can pull down the larger index, so Bitcoin could be something that pops it. Brad Marcelli says housing and end of stimmies. Yeah, so there's those two, right? So one is that the moratorium on evictions ends and it ends up being worse than expected. That could definitely be something that would pop a bubble, right? And then Congress realizing that they've overcooked the economy and pulling back on stimulus would be another really good one. For sure. Well, let's come in here and look at the stocks. I didn't really look at them yesterday. So it looks like at the moment things pretty okay at 19. So okay, in Texas they are saying that they can come out of the PLTR. So PLTR really took it on the nose after their earnings, and then that crazy lady, what the I can't remember her name. I don't want to remember her name. Don't tell me what it is. Anyways, Kathy or whatever. Man, she is like double. She's buying like way more of it, and so everybody's all excited about that and trying to buy that up. Which bubble? Oh, well, we were just talking about how all of a sudden a lot of the analysts are predicting a 10-20% pullback sort of a thing. Wow, Rare Earth Resources is to 350 now. Wait, that is a little bit lower than it was, right? Yeah. So we were getting excited when it was at 3, and now it's at 350. Man, that thing just keeps going and going and going. Whew. And Golden going pretty good tier too, 309. Of Of course, I got these options that are going to expire worthless. That sucks, but it happens. Actually, AG could be close. Depending on what they do today, AG could be close. Let's see here, Kyle. I bought ES yesterday at 38.82. The market touched my stop gain at 39.90. Oh, you took your profits too early? Wait, you bought it at 38.92? Was that a price that was touched? Oh yeah, it was. Yesterday. So you're saying you took your profits too early? Oh, you stopped out at... So you took a loss on it? Yeah, that does suck, but... Well, it happens. This whole thing is like, you know what? If you don't ever set a point at which you're wrong, then you can be right all the time. You know what I mean? Or you just have like a really, really wide stop. That can seriously improve your win rate. But to hold like a really tight stop and then have it go and reach your target before your stop is, and your target being equal to or further away than your stop, is really hard. Okay, well, you know what? I thought that this trade was pretty good, but I should have taken it off DAC back here at 19, and I've already let it come back too far. So let's just kind of like take a breather and regroup here. The clones have cloned a ferret. That's interesting. An endangered ferret. Did you see my little picture that I posted on Twitter the other day, Kyle? Oh man. A lot of prop traders don't use stop losses. Well, yeah. So if you are like, actually, okay. So like if you are market making for Goldman Sachs, you do have a stop. You do have a stop. Is just that stop is so far away. It is the only way it is going to get hit is if there's like a third standard deviation move out of nowhere. So do you see this right here? So somebody hit it, and then so it gapped here, and then there was an order that went off way up here. It was just one lot. It was just one lot way up here, and nothing traded between here and here. Nothing traded between here and here. So the entire market depth pulled. All 7 ticks from here to here, nothing traded in that location. How come that? I don't know. It happened. It happened while we were streaming, towards the end of our stream. Just out of nowhere, like the whole level 2 pulled there. It's pretty crazy, right? It's pretty crazy. And that's like during normal market operation. All of a sudden, some freak random event that somebody caught 7 ticks on. Yeah. I mean, like literally, when you zoom in on it. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that little line there, but like 1 pixel is like equal to a tick. So there was an order there, there was an order right there. You can see there was a little edge. There was an order there. There was an order there. And then the next order was there. So the only way that happen can possibly happen is if the market makers pulled all of their liquidity from here to here. Can you believe that? 7 ticks. The market maker literally pulled 7 ticks. And there was like no retail traders there to catch it either or something? Like, how is that? How is that possible? Like, it would be one thing if it was like this. That could happen. It could be like, okay, they traded through all of these prices, but it was only like 10 volume at each step. No, it literally went from here to here. The next tick was 7 ticks higher. How did that happen? Imbalances, they cheat. It's just crazy to me that like robots were the entire level 2 for those 7 ticks and somebody got a slippage. So literally no volume traded at those prices. Yes, literally no volume traded at those prices. I haven't checked on another provider. We could pull up like 1 tick on CQG. Well, E-mini's going pretty good here up. Did you read about the guy I met that had 95% win rate? Seriously, he showed me the statements, but when he is wrong, he loses like a month's worth of winnings. Yeah. So this is there's been a thread on Futures.io, and when it started out, it was this guy's, and the way that he was talking, I found highly suspicious. Because it seemed he was talking with the same kind of language and arguments that like gurus trying to scam you use, because you could come in and you could say, here are the statistical properties of a particular strategy, and here are the benefits and advantages and disadvantages. Okay. When you trade here, you have a really big stop and you have a really close target. And because of that, you win most of the time. And you are more likely to come out at the end of the day with a positive day, with making money. But the downside is that when you have a drawdown, and statistically, you're going to have a drawdown at one point of like, 15 trades in a row or something of that nature, where you lose 15 times in a row. And when you lose 15 times in a row, that's going to be like double losses. That's pretty steep. And a lot of people's accounts can't handle that. Right? So what ends up happening? You get people that will go and do combines. They pass the combine. They'll trade it for a little while. They'll maybe even pull out some money. And then you come into that drawdown and you lose the account. So that would be like the way to approach it, right? Is like, here's what works and what doesn't, but instead it's like all this stuff about breaking the mold and all of this sort of stuff. It just drives me crazy. I traded live with him on Discord. And he has a 100K account. Well, if he has a 100K account, then you can do that sort of stuff, right? Like that's the thing, is that like, if you're like you have a really big account, or you're a high frequency trading firm, if you really have an execution edge, that is that your orders are going to go in there and you have a pretty good connection to the exchange, then those sorts of things, you can make money doing them for sure, because taking on risk is an edge. But if you're somebody trading micro contracts on a $500 to $1,000 account, you're probably going to blow the account doing that, right? Like it's not suitable for most accounts. Or maybe you have something and you will it won't work out because you don't get the executions that you need, right? Like this like Jay that we've had, right? Where Jay kind of doesn't do what he's supposed to. By the way, why is this not... Is it on this one? It's not. I see why. Hold on. Like that. Enabled. There we go. Okay. Did you see Roaring Kitty Keith Gill speak at the hearing? I'm not a hedge fund. Yeah, I did see that. I kind of found the hearing largely uninteresting. It was like the Congress was there talking and everything, but like they were missing the point. They were all like, oh, we need to protect retail traders from these things and everything. But the problem isn't like, oh, we need new regulation to protect retail traders from the hedge funds. No, what we need is for you to just enforce the rules that are already on the books fairly. Yeah, because they lose when fat tails happen mostly. Yeah. So this J strategy that I'm running, I have to pull. Oh, actually, I can pull it up because I put it on the Discord. I think I did at least. Yeah, right here. So here's Jay. Jay is designed in this way. And yeah, he'll get a fat tail. So I went back and I changed it so that there was like daily loss limits and stuff. And that really improved that. But it was still there. It was just like it wasn't as deep and it was more gentle. Right? It was more like this. One interesting said at the hearing was one hedge fund said they trade off of VWAP, as do most others. I'll have to go and look at that in the context in which it was said. Oh man, I could have taken the 2.5 and gotten the 2 ticks on it, I guess. Well, let me tell you something. The VWAP thing, using the VWAP as a place to pick up orders for large meta orders is definitely a thing. Just realize that it is not the most recent thing, right? Like the most advanced execution, like Goldman Sachs, they have more advanced ways of filling large meta orders than just looking at the VWAP or TWAP. And I think that matters. Like it seems to me that the VWAP is a thing, but that the edge on that has kind of been arbitraged away largely. Like it's too popular. It's too you're talking about something that people figured out 20 years ago. But that's a lot of things. It's just like I keep the deeper into the rabbit hole I go with this, the more I'm realizing that the vast majority of the things that retail traders use and their approach to markets is old. It was invented in like 1970, and they don't even completely understand everything that they learned about this in 1970. The execution algos could be very useful if we discover how they work, because it's just like market making, but with positive delta. Well, so the issue. So I can point out to you locations. Some of the algos that I've got, the way that they're working is they're using locations where it's probable that if you were going to start a large meta order, that it will start doing it from. It's just that, like, it doesn't always happen, you know? And by the time that you really know for sure that that's what's happening, it's too late. Because you'll only know that that's really what's happening when a sufficient amount of volume is traded, right? And a sufficient amount of volume is traded, that means, like, the trade is already over. I heard somewhere say if he trades too far from VWAP, he will be defunded. Yeah, so which kind of a trader was it, though? Was it a prop trader, or was it like a trader at Citadel or Goldman Sachs, right? Yeah, because in order to discover, we need to find a pattern, but then it's already doing it for some time when it does, yeah. Well, so if it was a prop, that's kind of interesting. Because the VWAP thing is very much a thing for, like, trying to, fill large meta orders. But I don't know. We've done stats on the VWAP, and there's definitely some interesting statistical behavior that happens around there. But like everything else, it has a fat tail. That's kind of another issue. How big is your stop? So if your stop is like four points, or if your target is like 4 points in the S&P 500, you might know something about a probable setup around the VWAP. But that probable setup around the VWAP is probably better for more like 5 points in the S&P 500. Do you know what I mean? Instead of just 2. So then you go back and you start looking at things where it's like, well, probable setup for you to get 2 ticks. And when you start finding those, you'll realize that they there's competition for them usually. No, your setup. You had one yesterday. Yeah, that was kind of the thing with when I was looking at yours. Is I was like, this seems a little too specific for me to want to make a robot out of it. Mid orders would make sense since so much volume can be found near VWAP at time, VWAP to infinity and beyond. Yeah, it's just like, well, and then the other thing is like, how do you know when they flipped long to short, for instance, if we're like right at the VWAP, right? So I was saying, what every time that I've gone and I've back tested just trading against the VWAP, and that is to say, you know, if we touch the VWAP, look for bounce or look for continuation across it, you actually make more money if you look for the continuation across it. Because the win rate off of the bounce, it's like likely, but it's got fat tails. I remember, it's in one of those, it's in that video about moving averages, right? I show you the stats. Yeah, I haven't so occasionally, so you could probably watch and trade yourself by programming. It could show us if it has expectancy. Yeah. I'm worried about how much effort it'll be. You've got a lot of it figured out. So that is good. And you were kind of pointing out one of the things is that you'll be like, well, here's an indicator for like support and resistance zones, and I'm immediately like, yeah, but those probably don't mean anything. So the thing that will be interesting when I finally do get to it is that it's going to be like where the edge actually lies might surprise you. Well, the treasuries are kind of pressing on the short side still, but they look a lot more stable today. The S&P 500 is coming back quite a bit. Okay, that pulls considerably. This is a setup, for example, where another common setup fails. Well, that makes it more interesting for sure, yeah. I think there are things that you could, maybe we should try and find one. We should try and be like, what is the most common setup out there? Probably support and resistance, right? So we should go and take the support and resistance levels, and then if we see some sort of a trade that looks good, but the volume on it is too high, and we can quantify that and try and trade against it. Morning, Ace. So as a predatory trading kind of thing? Yeah. I mean, the thing is you got to be really careful with those kinds of edges, right? So one of the things is that if you just go in and you say, oh, I'm just going to trade against this person or this signal or whatever the deal is, well, if the signal doesn't work, then the chances are that it's just random, right? And if you trade the opposite of random, it doesn't equal a profitable strategy. If only it was that simple, right? Just go and find the worst strategy that you can and then trade the opposite of that, and then you should make money. But it just doesn't work that way. Anyways, that's why I'm saying that what you would really need to do is you would need to say that there is a strategy with a positive expectancy, but that too many people are trading it given the market conditions. You know what I mean? Like, we can take our Alice indicator, and then we can come in and we can say, here's the signal. If the cumulative delta between where the signal comes in and the target or whatever the deal is, then fade it. By the way, gold and silver are doing really well. Gold in particular is really spiking. Okay. We can probably take one more at the view up if we want. It looks like for the moment that the treasuries are moving up because the equities aren't doing so hot. Oh, and Bitcoin is apparently pumping again. Yeah. Gold being pulled by the dollar. I think so. Like, the thing is that the dollar declined a long time ago when gold was still down. So it's like only now that they're finally fixing that. Is that the right way to put it? Like, when I was going through there, I was like, well, what I was trying to say to you guys was it looks like gold is a buy here, but that would be too much to say on a live stream. So I was pulling my hair last year with gold. Yeah, it's because what I see. Oh my gosh, why am I getting like hiccups and stuff? What I was seeing in gold this morning was that they should be moving up because the dollar is getting weak again, but instead it's staying down because of technical trading, because of a death cross. So can you imagine, though, if gold really picks up today and gets back above that death cross and cancels out that signal? Yeah. The modern pirate? What? Oh, I see. The nautical look. Nah, I'm not into it. Not into it. Oh, I know all of the technical patterns, Kyle. This is a thing. Like, This is why it tends to get me going when people come in and they're like, you just need to learn the technical pattern and be consistent and you'll make money. And it's like, no, look, I've read all the books. Okay, I started with this. I've gone through so many different types of patterns and strategies, and I've done the research myself. I've gone and programmed and tested them, and they do not perform the way that the people that trade them think they do. And if they really knew and understood the statistical properties of those strategies, they wouldn't trade them. You can't make blink, and I think I can. Because here's the thing. Why is it like that? We go through all of that. Why is it like that? And I think that there's only two possible solutions that I can see. One is that it used to work and it doesn't anymore because of the robots, which there is some empirical evidence that suggests that, because people have done studies, and like when they backtest it, the strategy works really, really well before 1970, and then afterwards, once the computers start getting involved, it doesn't work anymore. But then the other option, and the one that I kind of lean towards even more, is that price alone is not sufficient enough to really understand what's going on. That's why I kind of go through all of the things that I do, is because what I'm trying to show people is that trying to do an analysis using only price and not considering the order flow and the way that the balance of power between market orders and limit orders are going, you're not really going to understand what's going on. And so, yeah, we sell indicators because those are all in order flow indicators, not price only indicators. And I have some backtesting that suggests that you can make money from those. Those all perform way better than any of the price strategies that I've seen. Discounting ones that rely on taking on excessive risk. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh. Okay. Oh, you just gave me the dumbest idea when. Oh gosh.
Winston's mom says my version of Reddit's GME. Hedgehogs. We put out the word that hedgehogs are the next GME. We can hedge the hogs and also see adorable hedgehogs go virtual on social media. The puny porcupine prank.
Oh wait! Before I go into that, I want to keep talking here with RJ. Well, I think that you're right that order flow is TA, but we were talking specifically about patterns. So there is some edge in doing technical analysis on order flow, but here again, the experience I have had is that even though there is some edge in it, you're unlikely to be very successful just using that. Right. So then this kind of comes into the next. I feel like I've done a pretty good job showing you guys in some of my videos the issues with trading purely on technicals and the issues with a lot of the popular strategies out there. I also think I've done a pretty good job of explaining to people why you have to do the research on your own. You have to find edges on your own because it's competitive. And if you're just doing what's popular out there, there's not going to be an edge to it. The next thing that I'm trying to convince you guys on is that you have to look at the whole system, that It's just simply not enough anymore to just look at price or to just look at volume, to just look at this one little thing and really do well. You're just not going to be consistent. So you're going to have to look at a wide array of both technical and fundamental analyses. A lot of political observers have wondered if the age of political scandal was dead. Ted Cruz proved this week that it isn't. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if this thing with Ted Cruz, by the way, is comparable to the bridge scandal with Chris Christie. Like, this could be the thing that sinks his presidential ambitions. Okay, well, the E-mini is kind of stabilizing here. That took about 1, 2, 3. So probably we're going to sit around here until the open. For the life of me, I cannot think how he could have made such a major miscalculation. He went and read the Texas news and commentators. He may be dead in the water, and there will be a lot of water. Well, so one thing is that we don't really have a very good idea of what people in Texas are thinking right now, because most of them don't have power. When I go on the right-wing forums, there was a lot of FEMA is useless. That was kind of interesting. But it really is kind of, well, from our perspective, it's like, man, how could a politician be so tone deaf, right? But when you put it into practical terms, as a practical person, if you have the means to leave the area and wait until everything is handled, then you would go and do that, wouldn't you? You know what I mean? Like, what do they expect him to do? He wants to go and sit in the cold with the rest of the people to make you all feel better. You know, misery loves company. My dad always said misery loves company. I've found this to be very true in life. misery does love company. So like, I totally understand how he could make a miscalculation like that, because from a practical perspective, sending your kids to Cancun or some hotel or something outside of the state that isn't a disaster zone is a good idea. The problem is just that you're a politician and people tend not to like that. So people don't like don't like it when you do the most logical thing. And that's why so many politicians, this isn't the first time that a politician has done this, has it? Right? There was a number of times that this happened to Democrat politicians, right? But this is where, again, the biggest weapon that they, and I don't know who they is. I'm not saying that there's like some shadowy organization in the world that controls everything. I guess when I say they, I mean people that have power that are against your specific interests. Okay, this is a tactic that is used against different groups of people, and it's used both ways. Is controlling attention. And so there are many instances where they focus your attention matters a great deal. Think about it. Think when I realized this yesterday, it was like, think about this. Where is Joe Biden? Shouldn't he be doing like a tour of the damage and be volunteering at, one of the temporary shelters that's set up and passing things out? And right, because when that sort of thing happened and that was Donald Trump, he was there. When that sort of thing happened and it was Barack Obama, I remember seeing those. You know what I mean? But where is Joe Biden? He's not. He's like in his, like he hasn't been seen. He did that town hall on CNN. Maybe he shows up next week. Maybe he does. I think that at some point people are going to start to wonder, right? So here in this instance, Joe Biden hasn't been there. If Donald Trump was president, this would be the big story right now, wouldn't it? You all know it would, right? They'd be saying, why does Joe Biden not care about the people? Why isn't he doing anything about it? Then, when a disaster happened under Donald Trump, and he did do all of these things, what was the focus on? Oh, while he was passing things out, he threw the paper towels to the crowd to people and was having fun with it. And that was like some awful thing. Like, what? Did they control your attention? Yes, they do. They control your attention and they focus you on different things. And so here, they focus your attention on Ted Cruz when there is like a dozen other things that you could be thinking about that might give you a better idea, that might be more pertinent to your personal interests. You know what I mean? Like the fact that FEMA isn't a very well run or effective organization. Don't you think that if there's ever going to be a disaster in your area, that how effective FEMA is a more important issue than which politicians stayed in the state? You know what I mean? Goldman warns these are stocks most likely to have outsized moves during today's options expiration. It's good because today is the monthly options expiration. Amazon is on that list and Costco is on that list. So there we had a move, but it wasn't. His town hall response about China was a disaster. Oh man, live action. They shouldn't have brought that one up. Like here's the thing. There are so many things that I could criticize Joe Biden about, right? On almost every major, I can think of like 5 or 6 major things that he's done since he's been in office that are bad. They're just objectively bad. I think the one that bothers me the most is that he rescinded the executive order that Donald Trump made that made it so that medications were cheaper. And he rescinded it for like no reason. Like that one really irks me, right? But nobody's talking about it. And then that his town hall response about China, That one's probably the one that bothers me second most, as he was saying, well, we'll hold, on one hand, they are being a little tougher on China than expected. Like they are saying in terms of trade negotiations, it doesn't look like they're just going to flop over. But then like when it comes to like genocide, he's just like, well, they have their societal norms and stuff. Like what? What? There's a reason why it paid off. That's a conspiracy theory. I think that you don't want to create any diplomatic tensions, and so he's not willing to speak up on. I wouldn't be able to do it. This is why I probably wouldn't make a very good politician, right? Because I'm going to come in and I'm going to say, no, this is the way that things are, and it's important that people understand that genocide is wrong, right? No reason. Well, the reason is that he's a Democrat. Oh, that came back hard. And that will take Brandon Short. We just hit good wins. Oh yeah, maybe. I think we could still have quite a little bit of shuffling around because we still got those PMI numbers right. Not that the market numbers are as influential, but it's still a thing. And what did you say about resistance? I missed it, Vlad. Oh, 2305. Well, I don't know. When you guys give out numbers, I'm kind of like, I don't care. There are 20 seconds here. Yeah, Goodwin's Law. I tell you what, that's the other thing that's kind of funny about all of this, though, right? Is like the number of Nazi comparisons that have been made in the past 4 years. And here in China, you have something that is directly, literally, like directly comparable to what happened in Nazi Germany. And everybody's just kind of sitting here like, oh, some people are like, oh, that's awful. And some politicians are like, well, they have their societal norms and people in their country need to conform to those societal norms. Oh, okay. Okay, so ahead of the open, we had pretty good buying them. And then there was a pretty aggressive turn in that. And now on the open, I would say that it was maybe slightly to the sell, but they're still sorting it out. And I'm already concerned that we're getting this kind of stuff that we had yesterday off of the open, where it's tight and difficult. So I'm going to take this off. Okay. So they're selling, it's not really showing in Delta. It did run into some more liquidity there at 20. Let's come over here and check the stocks. Yeah, GME once again trying to make a bull run on the open, but it's kind of questionable if they'll get very far. Gonna just leave this on auto read here. Actually, I'm not. I'm just gonna talk while I'm watching here, and you guys can say whatever you want, but I'm probably not gonna see your messages for a while. I was thinking the other day, because remember way back, and we were talking about VR chat. Or like, wouldn't it be cool if somebody made like a day trading floor map and VR chat and all that sort of a thing? Well, I was thinking like, well, maybe the VR chat stuff isn't sufficiently advanced enough to really do that right now. But you could just make your own game. But if you're going to make your own game, maybe it'd be easier to make a 2D one. So then I was thinking, like, what if you made a 2D pixel graphic day trade hero game? And then when was saying, you know, the whole thing about hedgehogs, I was like, oh my gosh, that would be perfect. It was make a day trader hedgehog called Hedgehogs. This is... I just... Still not, I mean, we are building liquidity in that area, but it's not doing quite what I want. It does kind of look like they're going to push some new lows here. I think I should wait until the manufacturing numbers. Not seeing great action for longs. Yeah, I feel like that. Augmented reality analytics. You're getting the long, but you're not touching it. What's interesting, it is getting into a spot though where I'm a little bit more interested in it. Jeez. Okay, this one looks good. Like right there, 39.21. Hmm. Okay. So they come into that kind of that area and they're struggling a little bit. So if they're able to pull it out from here, I think it could look really good. But for now, okay, finally got that. Oh man, it's fallen back awfully fast. And yeah, the treasuries are coming up there. So now they're kind of to this line. Dollars coming back here. Whoa. That didn't print a gap? Shocked. I'm shocked that that didn't print a gap, but it did just print them all. That's weird. That last spike was really weird. Don't you think? Can you look at BNB coin? Why? You can go and look at BNB coin. This looks like a squeeze. I don't know what that was. Must have been a really big order came through. Let's look at that. But here's the thing is that the market makers didn't pull. They had to eat all of that. So when I saw that, I really thought that was going to print one of those gaps and that we were going to hear the sound, but it didn't do it. Okay, 30 seconds till the news. Let's see here. Manufacturing PMI 58.5 expected. Services 57.6 expected. Still waiting for numbers here. Okay, manufacturing in line. Services. Services were higher than expected. Well, you kind of have to wonder what was that sell volume. It was like 1,000 contracts. And Jay didn't fade it, huh? Well, that's pretty unbelievable. It looks like here in the treasury, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But see, that was a big buy. I don't know, man. There's some fishy business going on here. So if you took it from there and then from there, you probably didn't make anything. But maybe he was planning on, maybe he was just doing it for the PMI. And then it didn't puke, so he got out. I don't know. This is weird. PMI, the slower manufacturing growth was often blamed on extreme weather and existing widespread supply shortages. Supplier delays hit a record high during the month. Well, because we got the sign change, I'm still kind of favoring long, but kind of with you where it's I don't necessarily like either side at the moment. It's not really continuing through like I think it should yet. Input costs across manufacturing and services soared higher as demand outstripped supply, rising at by far the steepest rate since comparable data were first available in 2009, according to Market. So even though the headline numbers were pretty close to in line, it sounds like there's a couple of things in the report that are maybe more important, including concerns about inflation. But the treasuries are moving up, so that doesn't really make sense. The dollar pulled back from its lowest levels of the day, but the silver is still looking pretty good. So there's a decent amount of buying that came in there. The market makers still appear to be taking it in there. Overall, the latent liquidity isn't all that high at the moment. Like we're seeing more like 100s, 200s rather than 300s and 400s. Equities are still pushing up there. Okay. Let's see here. What's Mohammed El Rain saying? PMI are out, and directionally they contrast with those of our Europe earlier below. The manufacturing component is lower month-on-month basis and below consensus market expectation, and the other way around for services higher than in December and beating expectation. Well, it depends on which estimate you're using. Bitcoin still doing well? Probably Bitcoin doing well because of options expiration, though. Copper gold ratio beyond parabolic. Well, copper's been doing so well. Elon said Bitcoin is better. Listen, what's going on in Bitcoin is just like, I would just turn off the news feeds, because this is where the people that are in it are going to find every little piece of good news that they can to try and push it further. But I'm telling you, when that one turns, I mean, it could be the long process where, there's a decline and then a lower high and all that sort of stuff. But then there's also the possibility that it's just like the New York Attorney General comes out one day and all of a sudden Bitcoin's worth nothing. Or a regulator comes out one day, Nvidia is selling its cap. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot. Did you guys hear the thing with Nvidia is doing? So next Thursday, they've got their new video card coming out, the 3060. And I was kind of thinking, well, I'd like to get one, but maybe I'm going to wait because it's probably going to be really hard to get them, right? Well, they have announced now mining specific cards. And they have built things into the video cards specifically that will make it slow at mining. Like if it detects those hashing algorithms for Ethereum, it will have the hashing rate. So if you're a miner, there's no point in buying a 3060, which is usually the most efficient power efficient card. Right? So you're going to want to wait for their mining specific cards that are coming out later in the month, I believe. But that's so interesting, man. I'm surprised that I hadn't heard about it until yesterday. It's a good idea. It is a good idea. So I'm surprised that none of these moves today made a slip. When I'm looking at the data, I think that makes sense, but I'm wondering if I still have a bug that just doesn't work. So I'm going to refresh this chart and see if it draws one. Any word on? Yeah, it did do one. Like, what the heck? Although it's saying it's in this 50 area, somewhere in here. How big of it one was it? And why didn't it trigger when I was running it live? $56.02. Oh, that can't be right. I think there's still some problems on it. No, the green line is a moving average. It's just your simple SMA. Funny hedgehog tick. Any word on hedgehogs? No, we're gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I've picked the framework. We're gonna create an exchange. It will look like the CME. I mean, it will be intentionally built to be like this is the CME, but it will be a fictional exchange with that hedgehogs trade at. Yeah. Hedgehogs. It's it'll be pixel art. It'll probably look really crappy. Maybe I can convince my wife to make pixel art for us. That'd be great. Well, to the point that if that bar that it did get was a legit one, and I'm not sure it was, because it may have just been happening, like it happened as soon as the thing finished. Yeah, it might not be a thing, but it was a buy. Yeah. Oh. So why does it do that? It only did it at the end. So maybe there's just something about when it switches from historical processing to real-time processing. Hedgehogs in pixel art. Yeah, it might be hard to make a pixel art hedgehog. Let's see here. We might have to make them be like Sonic the Hedgehog looking hedgehogs. Because, like, how are you going to get a trader jacket on him like that? You know? I don't know, man. That one probably looks the best. Now that one probably looks the best. Okay, so here comes the housing data. Coming back to the open. Ah, okay, that was one right there. And it was a buy. Funny. Oh, very interesting. Well, I think this looks like a mess and I should get out. Funny that the two sounds cancel. Did you hear it when click? So like my click, there was a poll, or well, what happened? It was, looks like there was a stack somewhere, but the sound from the click overruled the sound from the siren. Did you guys hear the siren though? Was it too loud? Did it scare you? Well, so far I'm kind of happy that I got out of that. It may move above the open. So I was just at bots. I had bots go and look for the 7-tick slippage area that we found yesterday on his CQG, and he sees it as well. It looks slightly different from mine, but it did happen. Somebody executed 7 ticks higher than the previous trade. The market literally pulled out 7 ticks. Now, the gap that we just saw there, or just barely had, was only 1 tick, so. Why ban for gold when you can sell shovels? Well, I don't know, man. Panning for gold looks kind of fun. Have you seen it? It kind of looks fun. You get outside, get in the water. It seems like kind of a fun weekend holiday. Maybe I can convince Ace to go panning for gold with me in the mountains. So on this chart, when I go back, yeah, I don't get a slip that big. Well, like when I did that, I was able to see one more yesterday, but it wasn't quite as big. So I'm like, maybe this is something that happens every day. But now that we're looking at it, it's already looking like no, it was an extremely unusual slip. Like a slip of 1 point is actually hard to make happen in the E-mini, apparently. ERCOT will end emergency conditions today. Is that the governor? Oh, the Electric Reliability Council of Texas. Bot says not necessarily a slip, just a fill that needed to be dealt with. Not necessarily a slip, just a fill that needed to be dealt with. No, I don't get how you get 7 ticks of slippage. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe people are still waking up. Oh my gosh. On TikTok, you get some of these finance people, and I've seen this from more than one person where they're like, they would wake up early to do their pre-market prep, and then they're like, nah, I don't want to wake up early, and then they wait until 9:30 Eastern time. And I'm sitting over here like, what? Late delayed fill adjustment? It could be. Could that data aberration that we got, or that slippage that we saw, could it be like a late trade? Well, there's on stocks, there's other weird stuff that goes on, like options and late things reported late. Oh yeah, we got another one got filled. Someone's machine running slow and put in a bad order. Yeah, I don't know. So this is where having MBO data would be interesting. Because then you could see if it was a market order or what it was, maybe. Well, yeah, Spot's saying it could be the result of a market order being triggered and no offers being there when it hit. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, bots, though, is that, like, from my understanding, that's the only way that it could happen. Look at the treasury. That got incredibly aggressive, like, really quickly. I've never traded Jigsaw. Have you ever got a trade past the close? If so, it's been a while and I don't remember what happened. I think that it still leaves them there. Another tick there, pretty aggressive. I should have pulled those two again. Phew. Whew. Okay. So I'm hearing that Fed's Rosengren has been saying stuff. Maybe that's why it moved the way that it did. Okay, I'm out. Anyways, back to that order. The only way that I know it can happen is that literally 6 levels of offers pulled and there was no offers there, and so that market, when somebody hit in with a market order, it hit 7 ticks higher. That's like the only way that I know it can happen. But there could be all sorts of weird oddities that aren't well documented that we don't necessarily notice very often. This can be acceleration if they feel big. So it looks like they're still pushing like 16 now. I was just getting a little concerned because it is absorbing a lot. And look, it is affecting the E-mini here too. That must have been off of Rosengren's comments. See, I don't know why this would cause that kind of a move. They didn't necessarily pull. Like, they pulled a little bit at 19, but, you know, when things started getting crazy and they broke the lows and everything, there was absorption at almost every price there. So good job, Ace. I haven't been following very closely. So why we just need to get you, man. I'm seriously, I want to drive down to your house and get you on Discord. That's what I want to do. I want to come stop by and get you on Discord so we can have you on Discord. Seems the strength of the recovery is underestimated. Maybe. There's a lot of options expiring, so we might find it difficult to read. Make sure he doesn't hide that matrix cable in your trading chair there. Yeah. Or you could just pay attention. I wish that I could see the chat more easily. Maybe I need to reorganize my window. I don't know. Maybe I need to just turn on the reader again. But I wasn't doing it so much because some people, you know, there was lots of comments. Maybe I need to just modify it so that it will only auto-read certain people or something. The hustle and bustle of getting ready for sus. No, you don't. Don't.
RJ Wheel says I vote no.
Don't do anything special for me.
RJ Wheel says I vote yes for me. Ace Trades says anything that looks messy is thrown out. When Seth gets here, I want it to look like the cover of Better Homes and Garden.
Better Homes and Garden. Oh, I haven't looked at that magazine in a long time.
Marty Nix says auto read sucks.
The auto read is not very fast.
This guy says I got stopped out of my short.
Bot says royalty doesn't visit every day.
Ace Trades says at HF I am short from 20.50. John Piranunzi says S currently short targeting YPOC 10/11 area.
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, I wish that man, I wish that Facebook was more flexible.
Stick Bal says Seth make it so that it only reads messages starting with a certain symbol like hash.
So it's going to continue reading these rest of these, I think. No? Oh, maybe not.
HF says at ACE trades fine till 3,915. Vlad Stolyarov says groovy.
So the other thing is that it seems like Google has done something so that when you're sending requests to their text-to-speech thing, it comes back to you slower, like it takes longer or something. I'm impressed with how the robot pronounced my name. Definitely passed the Turing. Yeah, it's really freaking good. Well, it uses some machine learning and all that, right? No. So one of the issues is that it seems like Google has made a change in that API where when you're doing a lot of requests, you don't get them back as quickly. So it kind of goes slower, and it's definitely slower than if I was reading it. But then you get this thing where everybody's talking and it does stuff. So on on Twitch, they have things like they have bits, and you get like points on the channel. And so when you get enough points on the channel, you can highlight a message. So you can get a message that's highlighted, but not, you don't have to pay for it, versus a donation message. On YouTube, the only choice is a donation message. So I can make it like, okay, for sure, if it's a donation message, then I always read it out or something like that. But it's just not quite going that well. And then there's this other thing, which is that like I have my Twitter, this screen. Can I show you guys this screen? I don't think I can. I don't have the scene set up for it. But on my right screen, I have OBS on the far right. And then on the left side of OBS, I've got chat. And then left of chat, I've got Twitter, right? So this is where I should be looking. This is where I should be. This is what I should be doing. Is I should have my eyes straightforward like this. But in order to read your comments, I have to look over here like this. So, and when I'm looking, so this is chat, and this is Twitter. This is where I need to be. So I don't know what to do about it. So it used to be that the chat activity was not all that much, so I didn't really have to look over that often. But now it's like, if I keep interacting with you guys, my eyes are only over here, and I don't know, man. So then it's like, well, I could make some space for it over on this screen, like over in the corner where my face is. But I'm already kind of feeling like, oh, I wish I had more room. Like, I wish that I had room for the fidelity to be up all the time, and for this chart, these two charts to be up all the time, that sort of a thing. So there was another move. I'm going to change this robot because it's just not... It's just not doing what we want. Not quite sure what to do about it. Okay, I know what I'm going to do. The other thing is that you guys don't use the accents anymore. You do exclamation point info and read messages to me in Chinese. That was half the fun with that. Anyone ready to long? Well, it's still a little questionable. So the issue is that there was a little bit of a hole here, right? There was a little bit of a hole here. So we come back here at the VWAP. The RTH VWAP, that is. There may be some support here, and we are seeing a little bit of bullishness. MicroStrategy completes 1 billion offering of convertible senior notes due 2027 at 0% coupons. Ridiculous. Oh, you know what? I missed WineTube's question earlier. Well, what it was earlier, it was, how do I begin to be on the right side on the market in almost every trade? Well, it's not going to be like that in almost every trade. So I think that if you're doing a good system that, and you get the right direction 50% of the time, like really, if you're even getting the direction right 50% of the time, you're good. You get the direction right 50% of the time, but then when you actually get a winner, you're also letting it run. Then you're in good spot, right? That's how we're able to do these, where it's like, oh, actually, it does ends up being. I probably should take another one if I want to come out profitable on the day. Oh, it's 15. It's not bad. But, I caught the one that really ran, and then I get millions on demo, but I lose millions on live account. Well, you're probably getting different fills, right? There you go. Bond volatility stays stubbornly elevated, says the market here. Thinking about trading the DAX for a couple of hours? Well, if you're in the UK, you can trade the DAX, and that would be great. Using RSI on its own is going to have some issues. So let's talk about RSI again. So the interesting thing about the RSI is that if you buy when it's under 20 and you sell when it's over 80, and that's your entire strategy, and you don't have any stop, then you can make money from doing it historically. But if you try to hold any kind of stop or anything like that, it doesn't work. So the reality is that the RSI is not, contrary to what many people believe, it is not a predictive signal in the least bit. In fact, it is really quite the opposite. I think that you could probably trade against that for a little bit, and you would have a better win rate. But what RSI does is it gets you in when risk is high. It's getting you in when the momentum is against you. So there's some advantages to that, because when you do win, you can win big as a result, right? But that's where trading just off of RSI for the majority of retail traders doesn't make much sense.
켈러크 73세 이즈, 세텍센트 코리엠.
RSI tells you when the price is low and when the price is high relative to the last 14 candles. I mean, it's a little bit more complicated than that, but what do you mean? It's just
Winston's mom says,
just
Min
reading it in
Kenan
the
Wei
accent.
Shuo, Jingan Rabbit de Shao Ziguan Shi Weil Bian de Kongming, Er Jishi Shi Shao Jishi, Er Owl de Shao Jishi Shi Weil Zhanxian Jij, Shi Jishi de Jishi.
Oh, I don't think that you put the Chinese correctly. Isn't it China M? Yeah, it's lowercase c, China M. Oh, see that one, accent testing, that won't do anything. Come on, why ain't it reading that one?
Влад Стальяров сей свеч фроминг.
What indicators would you look at? Well, so it depends on what you're trying to do. So here's what I would do. Is I would look at the market that you're trading and what it does and the behavior that it has and learn everything that you can about that particular market. So let's just say that our market is the S&P 500. Okay? So what are some things that we know about the S&P 500? Because it's an index, it tends to have some mean reverting behavior and it has a lot of random movement. Fair? It also, when it runs, when you get trends in the S&P 500, they can run really, really far. Okay, so that first thing, okay, we want a strategy that tends to have runners. Okay, so here's one thing that we can do in the S&P 500 to assist with that, is we can use a moving average. So I'm just using a 10-minute simple moving average. Now, what does a moving average do? Is a moving average a probable signal? What is the correct word that I'm supposed to use here? Predictive. Is the cross of a moving average a predictive signal? Well, according to my backtesting, no, it is not. But what a moving average does do is it will get you in at the start of a trend. Right? So I can look over here and I can say, okay, I think today is options expiration. We were up overnight. So overall, I think that the direction is going to be up. And I saw some overextension there on the downside. I can also see that there is a spot of liquidity between 39.19 and 39.18 or so. So that makes me a good spot. And then if we are going to get an uptrend, maybe if we crossed 39.20, I could take it long. Okay, so that time they're pushing through the liquidity right there. Now I'm looking, do I still see liquidity there? It looks like the latent liquidity is still holding okay. So here, if I cross into that moving average, that might be a good place to take it, right? And that's how you can use something like that. But I guess the thing is that when you use an indicator, I would use an indicator because like you're having a problem with something, you know, like if your problem is that you don't see the trend, then put a moving average up or put CCI up, probably even better, right? These sorts of things, right? But is there like a technical signal indicator that you can put on your chart that has like a really high win rate? The best that I've been able to find is 55%. And I'm not going to tell you what it is because there's already too much competition for that one. Oh, let's read these. See, Keller, when it reads out your message, it will read it in the correct
Vlad
accent.
Stolyarov says 2 + 2 is 4 quick maths.
켈러크 73 세이즈 I said an accent but now I don't know how to use it.
Винстан смамсейс, титес мяу. Мяу, 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 мяу.
Not even with a donation, nope. Oh, look at that. So I made my change, and Jay took a trade and made one. Okay. Fair. He didn't catch the best location. I'd give it that, though. I'm actually a little surprised that he took it where he did. Maybe I need to change the moving average. Maybe the type of the way that I'm averaging it is a little too sensitive. What rate SMA are you using? So I have a video on my channel that is what is the best moving average, where I talk about it. And the 3 best moving averages that I found has been a 10-minute SMA, a super smoother, and an HMA. Yeah. My mother pays the bills due to high unemployment in Sweden. I can't find a job, so I had to make money on other ways, I believe. Well, that's probably, I don't mean to burst your bubble, wine tube, but that's probably not going to work out. So now I have to give you the speech. Hold on. Hold all of your funny, I'll do this one because I love the German female accent. It's the sexiest thing.
Caio Bortoli says, how it can be possible? 6 Millionen in the middle of Ava?
Okay, so here's the thing. 95% of day traders fail. They did a study in Taiwan where they had data from the government on literally every execution that has happened in that Taiwanese market during the sample period. And so they were able to look at every person that traded and how much money they made. And they looked at people that were day trading on a regular basis. And the vast majority of them lost money. It wasn't just like they weren't successful. It was like they straight up lost money and they like blew the account. Okay. You got to understand that. It is literally like, depending on the study, 80 to 95% failure rate. Okay. For those few people that are successful at trading, they're probably going to go through several years, and I'm talking 3, 5, even 10 years before they really come across an edge that really works for them. This guy, I lost money for the last 4 years. I'm breaking even only now. There you go. Right? It is incredibly hard and incredibly risky. And futures trading is doubly so because of the margin involved. Because of the leverage involved, rather. Okay. So futures trading is for people that have money to blow. Okay. Like if you're unemployed and you need a job, futures trading is probably not it. You need to go and get a day job and something to support yourself because it's just too much pressure and it will hurt your trading, putting all that pressure on the performance when you're probably not going to perform for 5 years. Okay. So that's I'm like to say, like, I don't make financial advice. I'm not, I don't want people to follow my trades. If it's a good trade, I want to keep it to myself. And if it's a bad trade, I don't want you to get in it and lose money on it. Right. But here I am straight up giving you direct advice. If you're unemployed right now, you can day trade, you can trade it on sim, but don't be risking money. Get a job, get a regular job, because you're just going to lose money day trading for at least the first part. And then beyond that, you really have to ask if you really have the mentality and interests to really be successful at the trading, right? So Like one thing that I think people would be hesitant to say, but that the more and more I look into it, the more certain I am of this. If you hated math in high school, day trading is probably not for you, right? Because a lot of the simple edges have been arbitraged out, and so it's really more sophisticated analysis right now that you to find an edge, and that often means understanding some of the math behind it or statistics. If you don't enjoy reading the news and politics, day trading's probably not for you. I love math, love graphs, drugs for the ADHD brain. Okay, cool. A lot of ADHD people trade. So then that's the other question is, if you have impulsivity problems and you're not able to work on that, that one I wouldn't say that day trading is not for you, but you're going to really struggle with that, because I really struggle with that. Right? Like there's all of these things. Are you the kind of person that likes to just, go along and say things just to keep people happy, and that day trading is probably not for you, because it really requires an independent mind. Otherwise, you'll just follow the crowd and get slaughtered every time. These are all things. Here, hold on. It only needs. I have to click the button to read it, so you only need to put it in once.
Kyle Bertoli says, I'll just eat this little raw bat for now. Nothing can go wrong with that.
I love a YOLO, but I can set boundaries. There you go. That's okay. Yeah, get a job, use Ninja Platformer with replay at night to see if you have any aptitude before putting grocery money at play. Yeah. Or you can use my stream. Frankly, you can use my stream, because I know that involves like getting software and data and all that stuff, and you have to pay for that. But here's what you can do is you can just at the end of my stream, come in, mute me so that what I'm doing doesn't bias you, and just watch the order flow and keep track of the trades where you want to take them on, in a text file or a spreadsheet or something like that, and you can practice that way. I'm good at math, but I suck at trading. My biggest issue is I have the gambler's mentality, which makes me overtrade. Okay, so this guy, have you watched my video on R squared? So a couple of weeks ago, I would recommend you go and you watch that video, because that is a technical indicator that may assist you. I love math, but I'm a C student. I don't. I'm not saying that you can't, but it's the less aptitude you have in math, the more difficult it is. Okay, that short from Jay is not working very well at all. So that's one where he was against the what do we call this? Yeah. He was trading it against the direction. Oh, did I save? Yes, it did. So I'm going to add that back in. Okay, cool. Compile. Oh, thank you, WineTube. Yeah, I think that because that will do a really good job at telling you what kind of market you're in, and then you can filter off of that, and you can significantly reduce your trades. Turn it back on now. Do you have books or courses on trading psychology? Oh. So is bots still here? Tell me that sound was not useful right there. Holy crap. What was that? Whew. How big of a gap was that? Two-tick gap. Crazy. So, to the question about trading, I think that move might have been because of something Merkel just said, by the way. So maybe they recover that one out. I think that if we had gotten in at 21, that it might have been an okay trade, but now it's probably too late. Anyways, so on trading psychology, so the leader in the space in trading psychology is Brett Streamrunner. I don't know if he makes money. He kind of talks like he makes money from his trading, but he does a lot of, real psychological research and tips on things that you can do to, improve your trading systems. Right. So that's probably where I would go and read. But I would also say that the best antidote to difficulty with trading psychology is having a profitable strategy. The reason why the majority of day traders feel like they struggle with psychology issues is because they can't really tell if it's their strategy or if it's the market or if it's them. And the reality is that if most people are just looking at a bunch of indicators and kind of making a decision based on how it feels, you're probably trading something that, unless you've back tested it, you're probably trading something that doesn't actually work. Right? So if that's you, then that's where I would learn how to program. I would watch the videos about how to program that I have on this channel, and I would backtest your strategy and see what the expectancy is. Yeah, can you afford, because yeah, Ace is getting on the right thing here. Want to realize that the most probable outcome of you day trading with that money is that within 3 months you will lose all of it. With futures, you will lose all of it. No joke. So you say, I know my strategy works by having positive months, but I just went retarded in election day. So that's the exact sort of thing that kind of that I'm talking about here, actually, to be honest. So just because the strategy worked like 1 month doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good strategy for you. You know what I mean? There you go. Keller said his accent. So one example is so something that I saw because I've been having this back and forth with this guy on the Futures IO board, but he was talking about volatility. He was like, well, if you set the base on the range, here's a price level that won't get hit like 65% of the time, and that alone you can just use on a trading strategy. Well, it's really difficult, especially for an intraday strategy, to make something that relies on that. But if you do, there are other statistical properties about that might not make it very good for a retail trader, right? Because when volatility does outperform, and lately realized volatility has outperformed implied volatility quite a bit lately. That's why you're seeing all these day traders that are like making money YOLOing on options and stuff like that. Like, it's a real thing. And when you get into periods like that, it clusters. I mean, this is one of the things in markets is like, you look at the distribution. One of the issues that we deal with is fat tails, which is that when it goes bad, it goes really, really bad. And there's a higher number of those bad things than there would normally be based off of a Gaussian distribution. The other issue that we deal with that is not talked about as commonly is the tendency for markets to cluster. So you're going to get those days where if volatility outperforms, you're going to lose money. Okay. Well, over the long term, you probably should have a high expectancy system. But because those cluster, it could be where it's like you lose every day of the week. And can you handle it losing every day of the week? And most people can't. most people that I see trying to do this can't. So that's not necessarily an appropriate strategy for that kind of a person. Or similarly with these ones where you take on excessive risk. I suppose if you're doing a combine account, then it can work. You do it and you pull money out of the account, and then when you blow it, you just start a new combine. Sure. I think you could get away with that. But for your own account, you want to have a drawdown that deep? Probably not. You said the market is not efficient to rule against all edges at all times, and maybe my strategy isn't profitable in a high volatility environment, and I should avoid big event days. Yes. And this is, again, where the backtesting is so useful. I have to say, Kyle, just from the stuff that you've shown me, I really think that on NinjaTrader that you could program it. I have to say, a lot of people, they come in and they think, well, I'm not a programmer. I've never been a programmer, so that is something that I shouldn't even look into. But I'm telling you, all of you, if you want to trade, that learning how to program and trying to program in NinjaTrader 8 is something that you should spend time doing. There's probably nothing you can do that would be more beneficial to your trading than learning how to program. And it's not that hard when you can go and look at everybody else's code and see how they do it and just modify their code to do what you want. Because the vast majority of what retail traders are doing out there is not that complicated. It's just looking at an indicator and doing some simple comparison on it, like is price above or below the moving. That's really easy to backtest. There's a strategy built into NinjaTrader that you can look at and see how they do it. You know what I mean? And so you can go in and you can like backtest the specific setups and see how it performs. And then you could do things like, okay, well, maybe when I backtest it, it shows that it's just kind of break even. But I know that when I put me into it too, and my filtering and my own directional biases and stuff, that it does make it profitable. But then you can go in and you can say, okay, what kind of a market does this perform well in and not well in? And is there things that I can find that have some correlation to whether it's going to do well or not? Is it volatility? And if it's volatility, then you can go in and you can test out rules. You can say, if the VIX is above this level, just don't trade it. And you can see what kind of a difference that makes, and you can see if that's really what you need to do. Or maybe you can go in and you can program it to say, if I lose more than $1,000 in a day, then I just stop trading. And you can backtest it and you can optimize it to see what is the point at which I need to stop trading it. How often is it that I will lose this much and then you'll actually make it back and you end up positive on the day? You can backtest that all for your specific strategy. I showed the simplest strategy. Well, so the reason why when I look at yours, it's looks hard to me is because you've got so many things laid out, and it seems to me that it's not super well defined. But that's where I'm like, okay, but if you go in and you start programming it, you're going to start realizing what a well-defined system really looks like, and you'll nail it down. Whereas for me, probably what would end up happening is I'd be like, okay, here's an indicator, go through a bunch of different ways of using it, come back to you, see what you know, it would just be like this back and forth all the time. And it would probably just be easier for you to learn and do it yourself. Most of the time, that's the situation. But wow, Bitcoin market value tops 1 trillion now. Where are they at right now? It's been going. Almost 55 now. It's unusual to see that strong of a move in Bitcoin during the regular trading session, but I think that this is probably happening because of options.
Kellerk73 says, is Ninja Trader free? Can I use it on my phone? Lol.
Oh, wait, I thought we changed his accent. It didn't save it? We definitely did. What the heck? I don't know what that was with that. I got you. You're right. I'm probably the only one that can backtest my thinking process if it's even possible. Yeah. That's why when people come in and they ask me, like, can you write this strategy for me? 99% of the time, my answer is showing them how to do it and not charging them for it. Because I'm only really interested in picking on like the obligation, you know. Because if I write something for somebody and like I give it to you, then like you know that like if I'm busy, I can't necessarily help you with it, and that's fine. But once you start paying me, then all of a sudden there's like obligations, and like I give it to you and it doesn't work and this and that. So that's why like I'm only interested in doing that sort of a thing if the strategy that they're proposing is truly complex, like that it truly requires some sophisticated algorithms and data structures to pull off. Some new crypto. Well, there was that Canadian crypto ETF, but I don't think that's what's moving it today. What was the video? R squared. To find that one for him, Win. She'll link it. R squared. It was like 2 weeks ago. I'm kind of wondering here with the way that Bitcoin is moving today that does a Ninja Trader it uses C#, and you can download it for free. You can download and use it for free, but then when you want to actually trade live with it, you have to pay for the license. And you have to use Ninja Trader's brokerage.
Says, thank you so much for the question, Mr. Congressman.
Oh, how's it going with that co-integration stuff? That's a good question. So I got it to work, or at least I got it to print something out, and then I needed to verify it, which would involve opening up Ninja Trader 7, and I don't have it installed, so I just haven't bothered doing that. I just haven't bothered doing that, but I do need to look at it. I have to say, it was not simple. It was not simple. To pull it in, there was a library that was used, and it had its own way of dealing with like the differences in timeframes and stuff. Although I believe because of NinjaTrader 8, we're able to get rid of all that stuff. But there are some things that I see about it. There you go. Thank you, Win. That's the one that you should look at. But wine tube, that one, that link that Winston just gave you. I've been watching the stream a few weeks now, and I'm still not sure what you actually trade. So when I'm placing trades and realize that a lot of the trades that I place are sim, and sometimes it's sim and sometimes it's live, and I try to be sly about which ones are which, because I don't want you guys to know. Because I don't want you to like trying to follow my trades or anything like that, right? I do all sorts of things to confuse you. But when I do take a trade, it's either in the 10-year treasuries or the S&P 500 futures. That these DOMs on the left are the S&P 500 futures, and these DOMs, this big DOM here in the middle is the 10-year. PLTR is entering into 30 now? Oh my gosh, so they're up 18% now? That is so crazy. That is so crazy, man. The only true trade you do is in garlic coin. Oh, we haven't looked at that lately. Let's look at that. I think that they pulled back a little bit. Coin market cap. Oops, watch list is what I really want. Watch list. Yeah, they're just at 2 cents. They were at 2.5, now they're at 2. Kind of the bottom end of the range though, man. Looks like a good spot to buy it. Like, can you imagine? You see that chart right there? Think about it, man. Like, you see that? It's coming back. It's coming back. And then what do? You come in and here it's the bottom of the range. Here's support, right? And you come in and you say, okay, now I'm going to buy 1,000 of it. And it's going to go, zoop, and then everybody goes, oh, new high. Oh my gosh, guys, garlic coin is worth 4 cents now. Oh, and then everybody will very quickly buy it up to 5 cents. I'm telling you, that would be, and it wouldn't take that much. It'd only take like $1,000. I'm not recommending that people pump and dump or manipulate price or anything like that. I'm just saying that an outsized buy order in this location could potentially move garlic coin up to 5 cents and be worth a bit. That's all I'm saying. I do have a position in garlic coin though that I mined. Told you they had calls on PLTR. Well, so I'm pretty sure that the reason PLTR is going is because that crazy lady with her innovation ETF like doubled her position in it. This is the one that I just like. Of all of the stocks going on right now, the one that I find the most perplexing is PLTR. Okay, like Tesla is weird. Like, how can Tesla be that price that it is? I just can't sort out how its market cap can be worth all of the other automakers combined. It makes no sense to me. It's probably a bubble. But I'm not the expert on it. So I'm just gonna go look at. Okay, PLTR, like that's my specialty. That's like data analysis and stuff like that. Okay, so what do they do, and who are they working for, and all of these sorts of things. And when I look at it, it's not worth the hype that it's getting. It's not, because they're not really doing like what. How are they any different from like Datadog or Sumo Logic in terms of a stock play? I don't get what it is that's so special about them that they're so worthy of. This is the innovative stock that's going to be the leader in the next. I just don't get it. It's not there. And then it comes out. Their earnings come out. And they weren't very good. So it's like, hey, yeah, this company isn't doing that amazing and probably doesn't deserve the valuation that it's getting. And then that crazy lady comes and says, we're going to double our position in it, and it pumps all day, 20%. Ugh. So is that one a bubble? I don't know. It kind of seems like it is to me, but when I see something like that, I'm like, there's got to be a reason why people are doing it. In Bitcoin, I know why they're doing it, right? I know why Bitcoin's moving, and that's why I'm so confident that it's a bubble. But I've decided to get the house and start over. What? Oh, you're still preparing for my visit. Okay. Well, that better mean that I'm coming over tomorrow. Shitcoin. I'm like, when I look at this, the Bitcoin thing, it's just, I'm telling you, man, it is a disaster in the making. I've never been more confident in a call. Now, before I said it's probably going to happen before the end of the year, and it didn't. So trying to time it and everything is being difficult, and it's certainly, this wave is different. Okay, like every other wave, it would have crashed already. This one it's behaving differently. But you go and you look at Tether prints, and they're printing $1 billion a day over in Tether. Every day it's $500,000, $1 billion. Where is this money coming from? Are the people really depositing that much money in Tether? I'm not so sure I believe that. I really don't think so. I think that they're lying. I think that they're going to get hit by the New York Attorney General, and it's just, well, you just got to wait long enough, I think. And then the whole thing about like everybody using it, like, no. In fact, yesterday there was a survey, and they surveyed like asset managers for companies, and almost none of them said that they would buy Bitcoin. They all said that it was too volatile and that the board would never allow it. So this thing that like more companies are going to buy Bitcoin, this is that's a bubble. It's not going to happen. The amount of companies that are going to come in and buy up Bitcoin is far less than the market is predicting that there will be. So I don't know when it's gonna break, but I think it's gonna break, and there's gonna be consequences. Don't you think it would be interesting if the thing that took down Elon Musk was Bitcoin? I can't think of anything more poetic. I can't think of anything more poetic in markets. Okay. So that one right there was them buying it, right? Yep. It was that little, wait, was it at 39.25.75? $34. Yep. It was. Probably was that one right there. I think you let that one ride. In fact, if there is kind. By the way, look at the treasury there, 8K. If PLTR keeps rallying over 30, it's a monster squeeze. It's awfully close, isn't it? Clean and quick. What price did he take that one at? 39.24. Oh yeah, that's good. Would it be possible to get those prices with COT weekly data? So it's theoretically possible. Well, so first of all, the COT just tells you the numbers and not necessarily which prices they're in at. You could go in and you could say how many positions were held. There might, I mean, I've looked because the question is, how do you empirically, so I'm making certain assumptions, right? And there's probably some math in there that we could go in to make it even more accurate. But in order to do that, we would have to be able to see the market's actual positions, right? And we can't. So like the closest that we can get to that is COT data. But the whole thing is that like the further out you go, you know, the wider the chance of error is, and you know what I mean? So like on a short time frame, like a 5-minute time frame for these first 2 hours of trading, it works pretty well. But then if you try and hold it out through the whole session, it kind of starts to become less and less effective. And every time that there's a big move, you kind of have to assume. Because the one thing that it can't read is stop orders. People taking losses, essentially. Celebrity deathmatch. I have to say, bots, this I fixed the gap indicator. I showed you that, but then I added sounds to it, and I'd say it's useful. In fact, if you come back here and you look at it, now, granted, I'm not printing them. This one right here was a bug because I restarted it, and when you restart it, it will make it happen when you hit refresh. Okay, but these ones were correct, but it was a downside. Oh no, wait, it wasn't this one. No. It was this first one right here was wrong, but then this one was real, and this one was real. So this one was a good buy signal, right? This one, I was in a long position and I exited my long position because of it, right? This one, I'm being a little cautious here. It looks like I'm gonna dump there. Oh, no. Okay. Edit that one. What do you think about company offering a funded account? I would not recommend that beginners try getting funded accounts. You can read my one lot, I guess. My one lot that today is a sim order. Wood that I can catch. I know, right, Ace? So here's the thing is when we hear that sound, it's either going to be that there was informed trading and you want to run with it, or it was just kind of a temporary fluke and the market's going to revert. So that one, I thought because we were at the high and the way that it was holding that it was a good buy, but clearly, well, I could still be in it, but it looks to me like we could get a better setup, right? If it comes back up, maybe. Like maybe right there at the open. So I have two videos about the combines. One is more recent. You can go back and find them on my channel. And I'd recommend you watch that and go into more detail about why I feel the way I do about the combines. But yeah, a lot of people say, it can be good to have structure as a new person and you get the software and the data and everything for paying for it. But in my opinion, there's no point in a new trader taking the combine because there's almost zero chance that they're going to pass it as somebody that just started trading. Okay, that little bit of long. Oh, actually. Oh, Jay, really? Really, Mr. J. Oh, but wait, that is not correct. There was a bubble there too, huh? 15 minutes. This is wild. Prices going bananas, and the career academics in charge of the world won't hike rates for 2 years, says Zero Hedge. Huh. You're moving a mo in. Oh my gosh. Has been a pretty constrained day today, by the way. Look at the treasuries step up there a little bit. So now that it's done that, I'm going to disable J again. I'm going to flip these. Because that really wasn't the way that I wanted to trade it. Okay. Now, what about the other ones? How are they doing? Yeah, it looks like they're kind of struggling, but ultimately making money. Hmm. Okay, so I'm getting clicking here. I'm getting more large orders participating in this area, particularly offers pulling. Biden speaking. Hmm. Get around to see you later, bots. Are you still in that? You're not still in that short, are you, Ace? Did you flip? I don't know, man. There's a decent amount of volume through there. Oh, you just took the point and was glad for it. Okay. Oh, so now Bitcoin has a higher market cap than Tesla and Tencent? Oh, I didn't realize that that's where it was. That's where they put it. Hmm. I'd really like to see it bust the high of the day, but it's gone awfully quiet here, hasn't it? Oh, that's a little better. Okay. There's some volume. They're just waiting for most to call it a day. Well, we're coming up on the London close, so it is a little interesting that it's so quiet here. You can see that like there are buyers out there, but they're very clustered at the moment. So like we got a pretty good trend there. I'm pretty happy with my call, but everything that I'm seeing on Twitter and the news is they're still talking about Bitcoin. Like it is now almost to 55. So Bitcoin is getting a little crazy. Finally. Okay. I do think that they're going to hit that high and go, but yeah, Zero Hedge says by the time it takes to write 54,000, it will be at 55,000. It could be. I think it's funny. So here's something that I keep seeing that I'm kind of like, So I just saw passing through there on Twitter, I didn't see who it was, saying that inflation is so hot right now. And basically saying, people are buying Bitcoin because they're concerned about future inflation. And if it's about inflation, then how come none of the other inflation assets are moving? I mean, I guess gold is up today, but it wasn't the other day. And treasuries are recovering here at the moment. Why is it that whenever Bitcoin is really moving, that none of the other inflation assets are moving in the right direction? And it doesn't react to the dollar in the same way either. So I'm saying I don't think that it's inflation expectations at all. I think that it is purely manipulation and FOMO. That's what I think. And it rising here during the most active hours is not the way that it has been behaving in the past, and gives me pause. Yeah, so this one again. The MasterCard said this month it plans to support some cryptocurrencies, particularly stablecoins, directly on its network. Why would MasterCard need to support cryptocurrency on its network? The whole thing is that they are their own network so that you don't have to use services like MasterCard. Like, what? Is it going to break that high? I mean, I needed to get out because of the time and everything else like that, but it sure looks like they're going to go for it. And maybe we could get a good winning run. Well, here comes the London close here in like 10 seconds. Yeah, Bank of Mel, now it's old news. I'm telling you, when you really start seeing it in the news, that's like when I would be the most cautious about buying it. Because like what is this news really? Like especially with MasterCard, okay? Because the MasterCard, there's no reason for MasterCard. The whole point of a cryptocurrency is so that you don't need a company like MasterCard. So really what they're saying is we will buy Bitcoin and we'll let you buy and sell it from us and transfer it to each other, but you won't actually be using the cryptocurrency, right? That's what they're saying. So really what they're saying, and the way that I interpret that is, we don't actually believe in cryptocurrencies, but we'll take advantage of you and make money off of all of the people that do. That's what they're really saying there, right? So when you get the news like it really starts getting a lot of positive press, that's when I would be the most cautious. Because it's almost all speculation and FOMO. And tether manipulation. So, wonder where we'll be on Monday. If we are below 50,000 by Monday, then it's for sure like, watch out. But I don't know if that's going to happen. Oh, yeah, we haven't had one of those really aggressive moves in Bitcoin in a long time. Like the ones that are like, you know, somebody intentionally trying to crash the market in a certain direction. What should we call today's video? Well, I did do pretty well today. What was that with the... Okay, $23. Yeah, I did finally hit the goal. I took the one and it was like $10 and it was back to zero, and then I made the other one. That was great. Seth around the world. Do. Yeah, that would be a great intro. Well, I don't think it's going to do it until I shut this stream down. Yeah, the media never lies. I'm telling you, like, the media is like, they're not complicit per se, but they totally get abused with this sort of stuff. Like, they totally do. The people that are like, they have the big positions, they'll go and take the big position, and then they'll feed the media stories. Totally happens. Should we say markets push for positive day into options expiration? Markets push for up day ahead of options expiration. There we go. All right, guys. I will see you on Monday. In the meantime, stay profitable, friends.